My, we are having a little technical difficulties here, you guys. Let's get that started again. There we go. Welcome to the Here and Now Show. I am your host, LaFonda Ray. And if you've been a part of my Here and Now show, you know that I'm coming from the Midwest where we come in and show out. Hello, somebody. Gotta love your city. And if you tuned into my show before, you know that I have created this space where I took real life events and turned them into a positive living. If you have any questions or any comments, feel free to leave them in a question box because I believe that our voices matter. So, with that being said, let's start the show. If you've had a chance to been rocking with me for these last several months, then you know that I am a lover for jazz music. It sets the stage. It kind of gives me a moment of just feels good. I don't know, something about jazz and talk just sets the atmosphere. So if you don't mind giving me a few moments, you guys could go get you something to drink, go to the bathroom, light your cigarette or not a cigarette, but whatever you want to light up. And let's take this few moments before I dive into the shots. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me this evening. I am so glad that you guys are here with me right here and right now because the time is right here and right now. And if you seen my last two clips, they were like 5 minutes short. Um, I attempted to stream from home. Things didn't go well. You know, the dog wanted to bark. People wanted to call. Again, I am imperfect. I'm not perfect. And you guys can see my imperfection at home as I stream at home. But this evening, I decided, so you know what? We're going to go take it to the library. It's a little loud in here to be a library, but hell, we're here. And again, I am glad you guys are here with me right here, right now. I am so glad to be back. So give myself another clap. But today's conversation, today's message is for anyone or any person who has ever felt knocked down, who has ever felt talked about or doubted or overlooked or unsupported, and you still kept going. Today, I'm talking about when your setbacks fund your comebacks. Now, for those that are, old and hard or, older, a little bit more seasoned, you understand that a comeback is something that you come back from. A setback is something that sets you back. So I just want to make that clear. If you're like, well, what does she mean by a setback? A setback could be losing your job, losing a relationship, anything that sets you back from where you were. But the comeback is what we're talking about, okay? Because sometimes the very thing that tried to stop you, the very thing that paused you, can become your strength. That can become your strength because heartbreak throughout life taught you to build you, you know, and rejection taught you to push, and loneliness introduced you to yourself, taught you how to be comfortable with you because you were at a moment of loneliness, and that moment of loneliness or that season of loneliness taught you to connect better with yourself. And if I'm being honest, I've been through some fires. Do you hear me? I'm not talking about little fires where the smoke detectors is going off. Beep, beep. No, I'm talking about fire, my feet literally stepping on fire type season. I'm talking about crying and smiling at the same time season. You ever felt that where you're crying and you're smiling and you might even laugh. That does not make you crazy, you know? I'm talking about raising children. Well, they're now adults, but I'm talking about I'm talking about carrying weight. I'm talking about, people telling me, hey, I support you, yelling that to me, I got you, I support you. But they'll never tap into my show. And I'd be like, oh my God, these are the same people that is posting pictures of dinner and sunsets and selfies. And I'm not talking bad about them, but what I am saying, because they don't eat and I don't eat what they shit. So whatever I eat doesn't make them shit. Go something like that. I'm not quite sure how that phase goes. But it is always still nice to understand that your acknowledgement or your work that you're doing does count, because no man's an island. And if they can't understand that or push you or support you or say that they will, move on, because you're still winning. Still move on. And that feeling of people telling me that they support me and they're going to tune into my show, and then I see them on the internet hours later posting things, and I'm just like, okay. But that feeling built me. Okay. So today, that's the type of time I'm on. Yes, I'm talking about healing, growth, motherhood, and setbacks and comeback power. That comeback power is truly amazing when you use it to the fullest. So if you feel me, if you understand me, and this hits hard, and this is hitting you, and you can understand what I'm saying, stay tuned, because this conversation is for survivors. We survived. So I'm gonna take a few seconds to play a little jazz. It won't be too much. Don't, bear with me. Don't get upset. Be like, she's always taking breaks. But go get that drink and go get that cold glass of water and go get the things that you need. And I'm gonna take this break and we're gonna do a little jazz. I won't take a whole bunch of your time, but I will. That's a commercial. I have commercials, but they're not supposed to be on. So we're gonna ignore that, but we're gonna take a moment of jazz, a little heat, and then I'm gonna dive into it. This library is great. So many cats. Welcome back. Welcome back. So what I want to talk about is the fire that didn't finish me. And this is still talking about setbacks that funded your comeback. So these are just, I'm just sitting here and I want to talk about some situations. And I told you I was literally stepping on fire during that season. That's what I'm talking about. And so I want you guys to keep in mind that's what I'm talking about when I said the fire did not finish me. And remember that I said that during this season, I felt like I was literally walking on fire with my bare foot. Baby, shoo. My last relationship, example, it was about 9 years ago. And yes, that was a long time ago, but it was a part of my journey. It was a walk on the wild side, more or less. It was a lesson learned, you know. And if you're sitting there thinking, oh my God, have you been single for 9 years? No, no, no. I'm saying 9 years ago, that was a part of my past. But that was one of the things that almost took the girl out, but took me out emotionally. You know, um, relationships, they can really just, oh man, it's a different type of pain. And this person, at this time that I was with, they didn't use their hands. They wasn't a hands-on person. They didn't show their issues with their hands. They hit me with their lies. They hit me with confusion. They hit me with inconsistencies. They hit me with draining my peace. And I felt like I had hands put all over me emotionally. But it was kind of like It was that kind of pain that cuts deep. Do you hear me? You know, what, you know, it cuts so deep, it's a different type of pain in relationship pain. That shit hurts, right? But what almost drove me batshit crazy actually helped me open up my boundaries. It helped me understand my boundaries. And it also woke my heart up to better standards. Like, going through all that heartache, it literally woke my heart up to have better standards for myself. And what hurt me, it actually taught me, you know, it taught me healing. That hurt that I that hurted me 9 years ago, and I'm not like going back to it because it is a journey that I went through, so I can talk about it. But it taught me healing. And the funny truth is that some relationships, it doesn't need counseling. They just need an exit sign saying, "Hey, it's time to get up out of here." And if you guys are wondering what that is I have an app on my phone that plays or gives me certain things out the Bible. Hello, somebody keeps you going. Every 30 minutes, it give me something positive. So that is a beautiful thing. So funny story. I knew that I was out of a relationship. I knew that this relationship was over when I was happier going to the grocery store alone than seeing him. I knew I was like on aisle 7 smiling at the cereal, like, ooh, what cereal do I want? That's when I knew. That's when I knew that freedom was calling. I knew it and don't get it twisted. Not all of my relationships were bad. I know you might be thinking like, well, damn. In every show, you're almost talking about relationships, but at giving my age, I've been through some shit. And maybe during my journey, I will take accountability. Some of those issues were probably my fault. I don't know because I didn't stick around to see if I was the problem. I just knew when I became uncomfortable in that relationship, I knew it was time to grow. It was time for me to go. I learned enough that this wasn't for me. I learned enough that this relationship was hindering me and not helping me. So sometimes growth looks like what you wouldn't believe blocking. Yes, I said blocking. Some that blocking power, oh my God, sometimes growth looks like that. Yes, blocking is taking your energy back. Yes, it takes time to block someone. It takes time to block someone out of your life. But if it's gonna mess with your peace and it's gonna take away your peace, then do it. Block it because now you're blocking the stress that came with that. You're keeping them from blocking your peace, right? And some folks might be like, oh, I think that blocking is so petty. No, baby. Blocking can be self care with Wi Fi. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe you get that joke. Maybe you don't. But it's self care with Wi Fi. Okay. Blocking, blessings, and better. The three B's. I mean, I love me enough to protect me. And that's what that means. The three blocks: block, blessed, and better. The three B's. And remember, it says when you say those three B's and you do them, when you block, you get blessed and you do better. And that's saying that I love me enough to protect me. And ever since I blocked what drained me, I have room for what is healing me. Do you understand that? I mean, I remember I blocked someone in my phone so fast that even my phone was like, "Are you sure? Yeah, like, are you sure?" I said, "Baby, move. I am very much sure. Move." But people see you publicly win. They don't see you privately. They don't see your private tears. They see you smile. They don't see the sleepless nights. They see your confidence, but they didn't see the prayer that built that confidence. It's almost like wearing two faces. They see your success, but they didn't see what broke you down that birthed it. They didn't see where that success was birthed from. And I've healed in many rooms that nobody even clapped in. But I've healed and I've cried where people didn't even check on me. and they did not see my tears. But while they while I was in the privacy, I was rebuilding when nobody even noticed. Now I'm shining. I have a whole nother glow about myself, confident glow, and you should have it too. And that's how that works. I was learning that healing in private, it builds strength in public. And I'll say it again. I learned that private healing creates public strength. Some people be like, she thinks she's all that. No, no, baby. Shoot. I don't think I'm all that. But I think I survived a lot. Can I talk real? Can I be real? Like talk about me on some more levels? People have told me. You remember when I said that, I hear people tell me all the time, I support you. Meanwhile, I have a store online, I have podcasts, TikToks, but never clicked on it. Never once won't even subscribe or watch or share. Hmm. And hasn't showed up to not one book event and their own Zoom meetings. How clear can you get? I mean, but you can sit there and watch for 8 hours someone dancing online that you don't even know. I don't know. But I've learned something. Fake support reveals real strength. You know, you some people say, I don't need the support. Oh, but sometimes you do want that support, whether you need it, you just sometimes want it. Because when people don't clap for you, you clap for yourself. When people don't push you push yourself. And when they doubt you develop yourself. Oh my God, I had this one person tell me, I'm so proud of you. And I said, thank you. And then I went home and I went on my page. They ain't like one thing since 2012. Like, what the jokety life bullshit is this, right? But all jokes aside, as women, as a woman, I've cried. I get tired. We question ourselves. We carry pain quietly while cutting up onions in the kitchen, trying to cover up the tears. We still need hugs, you know, and rest because we may handle things well, and that's nothing. And you may think that we're super moms and super moms, nothing hurts us. Super dads and Superman and Superwoman, but that's not true. Some of us are super moms and super women and super dads. But then we go in the shower and we cry it out and come out all moisturized. Yeah. Strength doesn't cancel your softness. And like I said, before on my show, I have three amazing daughters. They are beautiful souls. Man, they are amazing. And yes, they had their battles. I've had my battles. There's been money battles, emotional battles, mental battles. And there's going to be mental battles with all those women in the house. And there were days that I doubted myself as a parent. And, my mindset, sometimes would try to break me. But I kept going. And all of us should keep going. I kept doing it for them, doing it for me. I kept building for them, building for me. And I did that. My daughters watched me survive and didn't even know it. They had no idea. And that's legacy right there. You know, that's legacy. When a woman keeps moving through her pain, that's legacy too. Being a mama means things like saying, I'm fine while fixing dinner, while paying bills, while solving problems and looking for that missing shoe that child keeps complaining about. But as I talk about the things that I've been through or that we've all seen. When you have that comeback, when you've had a setback to set you back that made you take life way back a few steps, you ask yourself, I don't want to be in this setback for long. And all the pain that you went through starts to funding your future as well as your comeback. Like, because let me say this and be clear, setbacks are not the end. Sometimes setbacks are investments. Sometimes heartbreaks fund wisdom. Sometimes betrayal funds boundaries. Sometimes tears fund strength. Sometimes loneliness finds purpose. And yes, some people still doubt me, and that's fine. Some people still watch me quietly, and that's still fine. And some people still misunderstood me, misunderstand me. Some people might even say, oh, she's doing this, she's doing that. But while they talking, I'm still making footprints in the sand. Hello, somebody. I'm still growing. While they're staying the same. I'm still revolving. I'm still changing. I'm still going, and I'm taking the bruises and the bumps because you got to take that. That is something in life that you cannot pass up. Is falling and getting back up because you're gonna fall, but you have to get back up. And I grew, and I kept growing. And listen, and if you're listening today, stop waiting for anybody or everybody to support you. Support yourself. Some people just clap too late. And what you eat, don't make them shit. So you have to dig down there and get it because building, always build. Launching, always launch for your goals. Prayer, always pray. Cry if you have to. Cry it out if you need to. Then wipe your face and move forward. Men cry, women cry. We can still rise, but seriously, we can rise. You know, I'm blocking stress. I'm blocking the stress. I'm blocking the lonely nights because those nights can only be lonely as long as you continue to let that thought make you feel lonely. So again, wipe your face, move forward, but seriously rise too. I'm talking about blocking, blessed, and better. I am proof of a setback that can be funding your comeback. I'm proof of that. And so are you. I am living proof that no matter what I do, I know that there is light at the end of that tunnel. I know that if you do not choose to support me or you want to support me quietly, or there are some things that people are like, oh, I want to see you make it, but they really don't want to see you make it. And once you start to realize that, you start to build a path for yourself. Don't wait on other people to give you confirmation. You are the confirmation. You are the masterpiece. You have it. Make that comeback amazing. That setback did not stop you, because I've had setbacks that literally made me feel like, how am I going to go on? But I got on my knees, called on the holy power, higher power, but because it showed me. And with that, with exercising my mind, anything is possible. So before I close, I want everyone that's listening to know that your comeback is waiting for you right there. You can do it. You are winning. There, you are still alive as long as you have air in your lungs. There is purpose for you to be here. You know, there's a lot of times during my struggle, during my podcast struggles, and you know, during my growth struggles, that I thought that someone just tell me that I'm doing good. I know that I'm doing good, but then no one told me that. So I told myself, and I started seeing my self reflection of who I really am. I didn't need that. It's nice to have that, but you got to push yourself first. Clap for yourself. Stand ovation for yourself. So before I close this evening, I want to tell you you are healthy, wealthy, and you're wise. You are as strong as you want to be. Your strength is in you, even if you didn't know it's in there. Everybody has a strength, and we all go through something, but we can all come out of it together. And to stay connected with me again, Marshall's Books and More. As a brand of my brand, I think that it's a great brand. I think that the clothing is great. The prices are reasonable. Shipping and handling, like, come on, it's beautiful. So many things out there. So to stay connected, please tune into that. If this video made you feel like, your setbacks is no longer a setback and your comebacks keep coming and it's coming and it's coming, share a like, subscribe, you know, set with me for a while because we got a big old world out there and it's waiting for you. Your success is right there next to you. So you make that comeback and don't set back too long. You take those setbacks and you set them back. They're called a setback for a reason. They set back there. They don't go forward. They set back. Setback for the comeback. Funding your comeback. Thank you for tuning in to the Marshall. To the I guess I just guess I might need to eat. That's what I think I need to do. I think I need to go home and eat because my thoughts, I keep seeing food in my brain. So I gotta give myself some nourishment. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for sitting with me for this short period of time for the Here and Now show. And remember, when your setback can fund your comeback every time you come back. Starting over does not mean you're starting from scratch. So thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful evening.